The truth that excites you. So what is the value of science fiction? For which you are justifiably universally known?
Okay, let's look at literature as a whole. Fiction, just any kind of fiction. I think that serious fiction, fiction where the writer feels he's accomplishing something besides simply amusing people, but there's nothing wrong with simply amusing people. But if he thinks that he's doing something besides simply amusing people, what he's doing is holding up a mirror to the human species, making it possible for you to understand people better because you've read the novel or the story, maybe making it possible for you to understand yourself better. This is an important thing. Now, science fiction uses a different method for doing this. It works up an artificial society, one which doesn't exist, one which may possibly exist in the future, but not necessarily. And it portrays events against the background of this society. Well, it's amusing, it's interesting, but in the hope that this will give a new way of looking at people, at looking at yourself, that you will see yourself seen against this strange society in ways you couldn't possibly see yourself, seen against the present society. I don't claim that I succeed at this. It seems to me that to do this properly takes a great man, you know, takes a guy on the level of well, at least half of Shakespeare. And I don't come up there, but I try. And who knows, maybe once in a while I succeed a little bit, but I try. And that's why I write science fiction, because it's a way of writing fiction in a different style and enables me to make points I can't make otherwise.
Someone said that one great advantage of science fiction is to introduce the reader to the idea of changes that may well be inevitable, but which are not conceivable to the reader.
Well, I've said that myself on different times. The fact is that society is always changing, but the rate of change has been accelerating all through history for a variety of reasons. For one thing, change is cumulative. The very changes you make it easier to make further changes. It was only with the coming of the Industrial Revolution that the rate of change became fast enough to be visible in a single lifetime, so that people were suddenly aware that not only were things changing, but they would continue to change after they died. And that was when science fiction came into being, as opposed to fantasy and adventure tales. Because people knew that they would die before they could see the changes that would happen in the next century, so it would be nice to imagine what they might be. And other people decided to make money that way. Well, as time goes on and the rate of change still continues to accelerate, it becomes more and more important to adjust what you do today with the fact of change in the future. It's ridiculous to make your plans now on the assumption that things will continue as they are now. You have to assume that if something you're doing is going to reach fruition in 10 years, that in those 10 years, changes may take place, and perhaps what you're doing will have no meaning then. So that nowadays, futurism has become an important part of thinking in business, in economics, in politics, in military affairs. At any rate, science fiction is important because it fights the natural notion that people would have that somehow there's something about things the way they are right now which are permanent.